They were working with, I saw her just go out like that. And they came and got me. They took me out of the room, the delivery room. They put me in a private room. And the doctor said, hallelujah. Whew. He said, we don't think she'll make it the night through. He said, where she's been in the distress. He said she's had a bowel movement and it got all in her lungs. And he said, so we don't think she'll make it. Well, I was glad I knew God. I was glad I knew him. So I called on him. I told my husband, I said, you call everybody that you know that can pray. I said, call everybody. But I was in that bed and I looked up towards heaven and I said, Lord, I don't believe you brought me this far to leave me. And the reason I told him, you see, there's almost 10 years difference between my two kids. We thought we couldn't have no more children. But this one came as a total surprise. Well, the next morning, hallelujah, Dr. Hedrick came in there and he said, we took x-rays. And he showed me the x-rays. The one x-ray was totally clouded. You couldn't even hardly see anything. The next x-ray was clear. Hallelujah. That's the way God works. He cleared it up. My daughter spent 1 day extra in the hospital. 1 day. And usually they stay in there for months. Hallelujah. She spent 1 day. And I thought about it, you know what? And I was talking to her last night. And I told her I had to preach tonight. She said, Mom, she said, do you remember? Hallelujah. She said, do you remember the time that we went to Cincinnati, just me and you? She said, when we got ready to come back, when she brought it back to my remembrance. She said, when we got ready to come back, she said, you wasn't paying no attention. And you ran a red light. And she said that one of those big wheelers was coming. And she said, I screamed and said, Mom, Mom. And she said, you turned and you looked. And she said, only thing you did was, she said, you just stopped the car. I'll never forget that. After she reminded me, I'll never forget it because we could have been killed. I had a little bitty old, I don't remember what the car was, but it was a little small car. And the four-wheel, the big wheel truck came, and it came that close to turn us up. But God let me stop. And when I stopped in the middle of the road. That's just it. I stopped in the middle of the road, and God fixed it so there wasn't nothing coming. And so that we didn't get hurt. And with that, I'm saying, if I sit a chair out here, and if I sit one right here, do we have any witnesses today? Do we have any witnesses? Do you believe that God can do anything but fail? Do you believe that he can take a dope head and make him clean? Do you believe that he can take an alcohol and take all that from him? Do you believe? Have I got any witnesses in the house here today? Has God done anything for you? Hallelujah. If he's done anything for you, you ought to show some sign. You ought to show some sign. Hallelujah. Well, my God, when we go to the baseball games and basketball games, oh, we make more noise than a little bit. But when we come in God's house, we get quiet. We get silent. Oh, Lord God Almighty, has God done anything for you? Did he open up a door for you? Did he make a way for you? Hallelujah. Make a way made out of no way. Have you ever been down to your last dime? Didn't know where the next dime was coming from. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And he made a way. I can tell you about that because I remember. Hallelujah. I remember when Robert, my husband, I remember when, hallelujah, he went to the Social Security office. He had multiple myeloma. He had cancer of the bones. I remember, and I worked for the telephone company then, but I remember you had to wait till you got your paycheck. We were waiting. And I wanted to know how I had gotten my money, and I paid all the bills. I'll never forget that. Paid all the bills. And when we were sitting, it was on the summer, we were sitting out on the porch, and I told him, I said, Robert, I said, we don't have no more money. I said, we don't have money to buy groceries. I said, I paid all the bills, and I said, we don't have nothing. And I said, what we going to do? He said, we're going to trust God. Right. I never forget, I can't remember the lady's name, but she lived next door to Miss Izola Neighbors. She rode up the street. She went to Miss Izola Neighbors' house, and Miss Izola had gone to New York, and she knocked on Miss Izola's door, and she looked down, and I told her, I said, Miss Izola's not there. I said, she went to New York. And she got in the car, she bagged back in front of our house, and she said, I was going to ask Miss Izola, she told Robert, I was going to ask Miss Izola where your dad lives. She said, I got some money I was going to give to him to give to you. And she said, I wanted to do something for you when you had that little baby girl. She said, but I didn't. And she said, and I don't know why, but today I decided that I was going to come and bring you some money. She put $100 in his hand. I'll never forget that. Hallelujah. You can't tell me that God don't make a way for you out of nowhere. You can't tell me what God can do. I know him. I know him for myself. I know him. Hallelujah. I know him. I know one time when I was at home by myself. Hallelujah. My husband hadn't died then, but I was at home by myself, and I was sitting in a chair. And all at once, I started having pains, really, really bad pains in my chest. And I'm one of those, I ain't going to no doctor unless it's absolutely necessary. But I sit there in that chair, and I tried to get up. And when I got up and I made a step, the pain was so excruciating, I had to sit back down. Then I start calling on him. I start calling on him like a minute. You know, sometimes we call on Jesus and we ain't meaning it. We just doing it. But I called on him, Snake. I called on him like I didn't know nothing else to do. And I didn't know nothing else to do. I didn't have nobody else to call on. I started saying, Jesus, didn't you say that if we believed in you? Didn't you say that if we trust in you? God, I'm asking you right now. I said, would you touch my body? Hallelujah. Oh, God. All at once the pain started going away. I got up and I went to bed. I laid down and went to bed. And the pain, when I woke up, I went to sleep. I woke up the next morning and it was all gone. So I'm asking, who will be a witness? Who will be a witness? Have I got a witness? If you'll be a witness, stand on your feet. Stand on your feet. If you'll be a witness, come up here like you're in court and say, I'll be a witness. Are you ashamed to come out? Are you ashamed to step out? Who will be a witness today? Say, I'm a witness.
I'm a witness
For my Lord. I'm a witness. For my Lord. My soul is a witness. For my Lord. I'm a witness. For my Lord. I'm a witness. For my Lord. He said, if you're ashamed of me down here, I'll be ashamed of you up there. That's right. Go ahead. Ain't that what he said? He said, if you're ashamed of me down here, I'll be ashamed of you up there. So we got any witnesses? We got any more witnesses? Hallelujah. We got any more witnesses?
I tell you, I said to say this, giving honor to the Lord. I'm a witness. I know God. Thank you, God. My daughter Michelle called me. I don't know exactly what day, but it was a couple of days ago. And she said, Mom, I want to tell you something. And everybody knows that her husband said had a red disorder, bleeding in the inside. He couldn't be touched. He couldn't hit himself. He couldn't hit himself on nothing. Yes. He was bleeding to death. That's what the doctor said. Hallelujah. I thank the Lord. She called me. She said, Mom, we were coming home from work. And we were in the crossway. You know how you cross the street and stand in the middle. And she was standing waiting to go to the other side. And a truck came down. Hallelujah. And struck Sid. Knocked him off his feet. Knocked him up in the air. She said, Mama, we were screaming. He came down on his feet. I thank the Lord. The car kept going and another car stopped behind him. No bleeding. no injuries or anything. Went to the doctor, no bleeding inside, and then on just that. She said, Mom, they took him off the blood thinners.
Praise God.
So you don't need them no more. She said, Mom, I just want you to tell the church. I thank y'all for praying for my husband.
Yes.
Mama, I know Mount Zion is a healing ground. She
Yes,
told me
Lord.
that. She
Yes,
just
Lord.
texted me out on my phone. That's what I was looking at. She said, Mom, please tell it. Please
Yes.
tell my testimony, Mom.
Yes,
She said, I don't know what I would have done without my husband. But God, amen. Amen. Amen.
I'm a witness. I'm a witness for my Lord. My soul is a witness for my Lord. Who can sing that song? I ain't no soloist. I'm a witness for my Lord. I'm a witness for my Lord. I'm a witness for my Lord. My soul is a witness for my Lord. I'm a witness for my Lord. I'm a witness for my Lord. I'm a witness for my Lord. My soul is a witness for my Lord. I'm a Holy Ghost witness for my Lord. I'm a Holy Ghost witness for my Lord. I'm a Holy Ghost witness for my Lord. My soul is a witness for my Lord. I'm a witness for my Lord. I'm a witness for my Lord. I'm a witness for my Lord. My soul is a witness for my Lord. For my Lord, I'm a baptized witness. For my Lord, I'm a baptized witness. For my Lord, my soul is a witness. For my Lord, I'm a witness. For my Lord, I'm a witness. For my Lord, I'm a witness. For my Lord, my soul is a witness. For my Lord.
Amen. I'm a good witness. I'm a good witness. I've seen some things that I know wasn't anything but God. God took care of me. I had a water hose that was spraying nothing. And before I started, I said, Lord, you got to help me.
Yes, Lord.
I need your help. I told my wife when I came past her and I was knocking over guitars, and you know, my guitars are
Yeah, he did. If he knocked a guitar down, I knew then it was bad.
It was
Because I
bad.
knocked one over about 3 months ago, and I thought he was going to lose his mind.
But anyway, I saw God put a fire out for me with a water hose that I probably could blow more water through a straw than the water hose. Now I knocked the window out and I went, stuck it up in the window. I got my finger and I'm just spraying. I'm looking at God on the hill and I'm like, my house is gonna burn down to the ground. But I'm gonna do whatever I can and good Lord help me. Standing there, I'm spraying water, and I'm just spraying not a whole lot of water at all. And the fire was I say, did you see that?
Yes.
Donna was standing on the hill. I said, did y'all see that? Well, anyway, it went down, and it wasn't me. It was God up above. He walked around and put that fire out. He kept the fire from going any farther than what it wasn't them firefighters.
No.
The firefighters stopped me from spraying water in the window and let it come back up again. That was God that saved me. I thought it was God. And when I seen the fire go down, I said, this thing got the power, the mighty power. I'm telling everybody in here, the mighty power of God. So you better believe it. You better Y'all better tell them, hey, God is real. If you believe in him, he gonna take care of you. I'm 60 years old. He has taken care of me all of my life, no matter where I went to, because my mother, my father, Donna's mother, Donna's father, these people all, they prayed for us. And they looked out for us. And not only that, our churches prayed for us and looked out for us. As a man, I want to tell everybody, especially young people,
Yes, Lord.
make sure
Make sure.
you pray to God and believe in God. And when you see a problem coming, call for who? Jesus! Because he'll walk you through the lies of this. He'll walk you through the fire. He'll do everything you need. At the end of the day, God bless y'all.
We got everybody up here. We're just going to anoint everybody. If you want to be anointed, just stay here. We're going to anoint everybody and we're going to